Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. You know what's wild? Two of Marvel's most famous lawyer superheroes barely know each other. Today, we're diving into the surprisingly sparse history between She-Hulk and Daredevil, exploring why these legal eagles rarely cross paths and what might be changing in 2024. By the end of this episode, you'll understand just how these courtroom crusaders managed to avoid each other for decades.
It's actually kind of shocking when you think about it. I mean, we're talking about two superhero lawyers in New York City, and yet they barely interacted for most of their comic history.
Wait, how rarely are we talking about here?
Well, according to a comprehensive analysis, from She-Hulk's debut in 1979 through September 2022, Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock appeared in the same comic only 105 times.
That actually sounds like quite a lot, though.
Here's the kicker. In 47 of those 105 comics, they never even shared a scene together. They were just in the same comic, doing different things.
That's actually kind of hilarious. Two superhero lawyers in the same city, and they're like ships passing in the night.
And you know what's even more interesting? They didn't have their first meaningful team-up until the She-Hulk series in 2014.
Hold up, 2014? That's like decades after She-Hulk was created.
Exactly. She-Hulk debuted in 1980, so we're talking about 34 years before they really worked together.
So what finally brought them together in 2014?
Well, it involved a pretty wild case. She-Hulk needed legal advice about Dr. Doom's son being kidnapped by Dr. Doom himself.
Wait, what? Dr. Doom kidnapped his own son?
Yeah, and here's where it gets interesting. She-Hulk had to go to San Francisco to consult with Matt Murdock about it.
San Francisco? Isn't Daredevil usually in New York?
That's actually a fascinating tangent. Matt was disbarred in New York at the time, but he was still licensed to practice in California.
A superhero lawyer getting disbarred. That's gotta hurt.
But it led to one of their first real interactions, with Matt giving her advice about breaking Doom's son out of Latveria.
Just casual lawyer stuff, planning international incidents.
And then they actually had a pretty interesting follow-up case that put them on opposing sides.
Oh? Do tell.
It involved Captain America and a wrongful death lawsuit from 1940. She-Hulk was defending Cap, while Daredevil represented the plaintiff.
Talk about high-stakes litigation.
The funny part is, She-Hulk actually called Daredevil to ask if his firm could vouch for her to practice in California, not knowing he was opposing counsel.
Oh, that's awkward.
But it showed how they could maintain a professional relationship even while opposing each other.
And romantically, were they ever an item in the comics?
Actually, no. Despite both having various romantic relationships throughout their comic history, they never dated each other.
Really? Not even once?
Well, there was one brief moment in an alternate universe story called House of M, but in the main Marvel universe, never happened.
But that might be changing, right? I heard there are some recent developments.
Yes, in the most recent Daredevil comic series, specifically issue number 5 from 2024, there are some interesting hints.
What kind of hints are we talking about?
Well, the issue features She-Hulk and Daredevil having what appears to be a series of dinner dates.
Oh, spicy. But I'm sensing a butt coming.
Yeah, turns out She-Hulk was possessed by a demon of gluttony at the time. Plus, she's currently dating Jack of Hearts.
Demon possession, that's a pretty extreme way to avoid relationship drama.
But throughout the issue, there's definitely a spark between them that seems to be setting up something for the future.
It's interesting how their relationship has evolved over time.
And it really shows how Marvel's approach to character relationships has changed.
What do you mean?
Well, in the early days, characters mostly stuck to their own series and storylines. Now there's much more crossing over and interaction.
Makes you wonder what other potential relationships we missed out on over the years.
Exactly. And both these characters have had their share of romantic relationships, just not with each other.
Who were some of their notable relationships?
Well, Daredevil's most famous relationship was probably with Elektra, which was complicated by their different views on taking lives.
Ah, yes, the classic, my girlfriend's an assassin problem.
He also had a complex relationship with Karen Page, and even dated Black Widow for a while.
And She-Hulk?
She had a significant relationship with Wyatt Wingfoot. They were even engaged at one point.
So they both have pretty extensive dating histories, just not with each other.
Right, which makes their current potential romance in the comics even more interesting.
Do you think it's influenced by their relationship in the MCU?
That seems likely. The comics often take inspiration from successful elements of the TV shows and movies.
It's like art imitating life, imitating art.
And it shows how these characters can still surprise us after decades of publication.
Speaking of surprises, let's talk about that analysis of their appearances together.
Right, someone actually went through every single comic from 1979 to 2022 to track their interactions.
That's some serious dedication.
And it really highlighted how these two major characters somehow managed to avoid meaningful interaction for so long.
It's almost like they were deliberately being kept apart.
Or maybe writers just didn't see the potential there until recently.
Well, when you step back from everything we've discussed, what's really fascinating is how two characters can exist in the same universe for so long without truly connecting.
And how sometimes it takes decades and a little influence from other media to realize the potential of a relationship that was there all along.
Kind of like two lawyers working in the same city for years before finally meeting at a bar.
Exactly. Sometimes the best stories are the ones that take the longest to tell.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Copilot Podcasts. Remember, even in a world of superheroes, sometimes the best relationships are the ones that develop slowly, one court case at a time.